Okay, I know this has nothing to do with the game tonight, but I currently have Colorado and Vancouver on in the background. There's about 11 minutes remaining. It's already 2-0 Colorado, and McKinnon has 2 goals. Not looking forward to when the Sens play Colorado because they have been looking insane lately. Um, yeah, I know that has nothing to do with the game. I know it's a weird way to start this video, but I felt like starting it that way just because why not? Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this game, shall we? Uh, if you're a Sens fan, you're probably feeling pretty good right now. This team is continuing to rack up the wins, rack up the points, and tonight was no exception. So, Sunday, November 9th, the Sens played game number 16 of the season against the Utah Mammoth. It was a home game. It was the first game of a 4-game homestand for the Sens, and it was a 7 o'clock p.m. start time. So it was Levi Marilainen starting for the Sens, and it was Vitek Vanacek starting for Utah. So it's the first meeting of the season between these two teams, and both teams are playing on a back-to-back. Both teams played yesterday, so you can't use that as an excuse. But um, I thought this was a fairly even game for the most part. I feel like it honestly could have went either way. And once I go through my notes, you'll be able to, understand why I would think that way. So the Sens were 7-5-3 coming into tonight, and Utah was 9-6 coming in tonight. So I said this at the start of the last video, and I'm going to say it again here. So Ottawa comes into this game having played 4 straight overtime games. That streak is done. So again, as a joke, I thought, are we going to go to overtime again? But we do not. So that overtime streak is done. And again, if you're a Sens fan, I think you're probably feeling pretty good right now. This team is racking up points, just one regulation loss in the last 10, and it was a solid night tonight. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down tonight's game. This was a solid effort, and again, I feel like it could have went either way tonight, honestly. So the Sens end up defeating Utah by a score of 4-2 in regulation. Of course, regulation, it's 2 goals, so how would it not be regulation? But anyways, so the Sens now improve to 5-2-1 on home ice, so that's pretty good. So Utah is now 9-7 on the season. The Sens are 8-5-3, so you might look at that record and think, okay, so they've won 8 out of 16. They've won half of their games, which doesn't sound great, but they've been playing really well lately, and like I mentioned, they are 6-1-3 in their last 10, so they're getting wins, they're picking up points, and nowadays when the standings are so close, by the way, I put out my standings review video earlier today, so go check that out. When the standings are this close, every point matters, so they've been looking great, so we'll see if they can keep this going. So let's go ahead and run through the stats here. Again, relatively even game for the most part, I would say. So the shots were 31-25 in favor of Utah. Face-off percentage, once again, Ottawa dominates 61.7% compared to 38.3% for Utah. So you're looking at the number one face-off team in the league in the Sens. So they showed that once again tonight. Power plays, I would say this would be the one concern, probably the biggest concern I have right now with this team. So Utah was 0 for 1, Ottawa was 0 for 2. I think they're 0 for their last 16 or 17 right now. So that's a bit of an issue, but now it's like they're flip-flopping with their special teams because they were really bad on the penalty kill. Their penalty kill is still very bad overall, but penalty kill was terrible. The power play was amazing, and now it's kind of opposite. Now their power play is awful, and their penalty kill is getting a little better. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess you just can't have the best of both worlds there apparently, but did not hurt them tonight, thankfully. Penalty minutes, not a lot of penalty minutes at all, just 6-4 with the Sens having the fewest. Hits were 28-13 in favor of the Sens. Block shots were 11-9 in favor of the Sens. Giveaways 20-15 in favor of the Sens having the fewest. Utah made some pretty bad ones, especially towards the end of the game in the third period. And takeaways were 5-3 in favor of the Sens. So these two teams will meet again on January 7th, so not for about a couple months. And that will be the second and final meeting of the season between these two teams. So yeah, we'll go ahead and run through my notes here. And again, I feel like this game really could have went either way. Just kind of take your pick. So starting off in the first period here, Greg has a chance, a really good chance here, does not get a shot out of it. And then he gets absolutely leveled afterwards. I didn't put down who the Utah player was, but he got absolutely decked there. So that kind of took away any scoring chance that he would get anyways. The Sens were just passing up chances to shoot. You're going to hear me say this a few times during this video. There were just times where it feels like they can shoot, they got a clear look at the net, but they just, for whatever reason, they don't shoot, they pass it off, whatever it is. So in my mind, right away, I'm thinking, oh goodness, are we going to get 13 shots again tonight? Because yesterday they got 13 shots. That was not the case, but it kind of felt like that a little bit early on. So there was a really bad giveaway by Utah to Perron, and he had a great chance there, but that was stopped by Vanacek. Both goalies made some really big saves tonight, so again, I feel like it could have went either way. So there was a broken play that led to a scramble around the Ottawa net. Merrilainen was down and out, and Gunther had a shot that was stopped, so that could have easily been a goal right there for the Mammoth. So we are halfway through the period, and the shots were 7-2 for Utah. So I think I literally put in my notes 13 again. So because halfway through the first, they're basically on pace for about 13 shots again. So it kind of felt like they're going down that same path again, right? But thankfully they did not end up with 13. So there was an interference penalty by Utah. Sergachev, there was a kind of a weak cross check. They didn't call it. I kind of agree with that. I don't think that was a penalty. It was just like a little tap like this kind of. They didn't call it, and I kind of agree. I don't think it was a penalty. It was kind of a weak cross check, so they let that one go. So what happened was there was a scrum after that penalty was called against Utah. Nick Cousins would be the main one going into that scrum, and in my mind I'm just thinking, skate away guys, just skate away, you're about to get a power play here, don't worry about it, don't take a retaliatory penalty. And sure enough, that is exactly what Cousins does. He does take a retaliatory penalty for roughing, so instead of the Sens getting a power play, we would play 4-on-4. So I'm like, drives me nuts. Like, just when you got a power play, man, I know things can be frustrating, I get that, but just skate away and take the power play. But instead we play 4-on-4. So there was some scrambly play by both teams. There were no goals during the 4-on-4. So we would go back to 5-on-5. And there was a bad change by Utah. The three Sens came skating into the zone. It was led by Dylan Cousins. So the shot was, there was a shot that was partially blocked. This was a weird play. So a shot was partially blocked, and then Kraus tried to clear it. I guess he was trying to clear the puck behind his net. So what happened was he cleared the puck, it hit his own player, and it kind of flutters over Vanacek, hits the post, and kind of dribbles along the goal line. And then Ridley Gregg would end up burying it. So kind of a weird play there, a broken play, a bit of a fluke maybe you could say. But Gregg does end up scoring there to make it 1-0 Sens. So that goal came at the 13:59 mark of the first period, and Dylan Cousins would get the only assist there. So the Sens go up 1-0 off a really, really strange play. I don't know, it was weird. So, but I'm not complaining. So there was a holding penalty by Pinto. There was a one-timer by Utah that was stopped. Merrilainen made some very good saves. Of course, Merrilainen starting tonight because Allmark started yesterday, back-to-back night, makes sense. So, yeah, that was a big stop by Merrilainen right there. And then Keller would come speeding down the wing, and the shot was stopped, and then he would score on his own rebound. Geez, it's, this was 2 seconds. They were still on the penalty kill. the goal came 2 seconds after the penalty had expired. So it's like, this is what I mean with this team. It's like, we know how bad their penalty kill has been. So it's like, they kill off the penalty, hey, great. But then 2 seconds later, they allow a goal, right? It's like, you just never know what you're going to get with this team. You really don't. So, but it was just, I think, was it Sanderson? I forgot to put down who it was, who he sped around. No, this was later on. No, this was the one. So on this play, I didn't see this real time. So on the replay showed a very subtle pick, possibly interference by Logan Cooley on Jensen. I don't know. I've seen that call before. Maybe they could have called that interference. I don't know. They did not call it. So that would explain how Keller got so much space on that play. Um, yeah, I don't know. That play right there, I have seen that called a penalty before, but they let it go. I wasn't really overly upset about them not calling that. So, but yeah, Keller would end up scoring there at the 17:33 mark of the first period from Sergachev and Vanacek getting the assist there. By the way, I didn't mention it, but that goal for Ridley Gregg was his second of the season, and that was Keller's sixth of the season. So that's it for the first period. So the shots after the first period were 14-5 for Utah. So again, it kind of felt like the game yesterday, right? Like 5 shots for the Sens. They're on pace for around 13 again. So I'm like, guys, you're not going to do this again, are you? So again, at this point, I'm thinking it kind of felt very similar to the game yesterday. Just actually yesterday the Sens were out shooting the Flyers after the first period, right? But the point is they were not getting a lot of shots to this point. So we go into the second period. So less than 2 minutes into the period, Utah would take a very undisciplined penalty. This was way behind the play. Like, you couldn't even see it at real time. It was off camera. So the Sens, again, just passing up chances to shoot on the power play. And I counted 4 clears, like 4 clears by Utah all the way down the ice on the Sens power play. See, now it's weird because now I feel like I'm going to start sitting here saying that they got to fix their power play, but their power play was so good before, and now it's starting to suck. But now their penalty kill used to be terrible, but now it's getting better. So it's like, what? You just never know with this team. Again, I know I say that a lot, but yeah, just there were no shots on that power play. And then what's ironic about this, like, I don't know if it's like a mental thing or what it is, but every team seems to do this. Just they don't shoot as much as they should on the power play because, like, what do I know? Like, I'm not a professional hockey player, obviously, but just it's weird how this is what I mean. Like, I feel like it's a mental thing. It's like they try to look for that perfect play, overpassing, and next thing you know, they end up giving it away and it's down the ice. But what's ironic here is they started shooting after the power play ends. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And I really do think it's mental. Truly, I do. So Cooley would have a one-timer. There was a big save by Marilina there. That was a big save by him. That could have easily been a goal there, which would have given Utah the lead at that point. And then there was a pass from behind the net to Jordan Spence in the slot, and he would absolutely blast this one past Vanacek for his first goal as a Senator. Please play this guy more, please. Like, listen, I know he had that gaff against the Islanders. I know one mistake, yes, it cost him the game, but this guy, you need him in your lineup. Like, come on, he's got to play more. So yes, Spence scores his first goal of the season and first as a Senator at the 7:13 mark of the second period, and David Perron getting the assist there, so he absolutely wired that one. So very, very good to see him, and he's missed a lot of games too. So yeah, Spence is I think he's actually over a point per game or at a point per game. Like, he's got the offense. We all know this, so play him more, please. So now, the Sens, to this point, they look like a completely different team to this point. So they had 5 shots in the entire first period. So now we are 9 minutes into the second period, and they've already got 6 shots in 9 minutes into the period. So it's like, what? It's just, it's weird, man. It's so unpredictable. And they were getting us some good looks, but nothing came out of all that. And then Utah kind of started to take over a little bit. There were a couple of shifts there where Utah just they were just out skating them, outplaying them, and the Sens were getting hemmed into their end pretty good. So there was a pass in front from behind the net, the Sens net that is, from Utah. So Utah would miss a wide open net. This, I don't know how this one stayed out. So Merilinen is looking, he's on the opposite side of the net from where the puck is. Like the puck's over here, Merilinen's over here, and he's looking the opposite way. So he doesn't see the puck at all, right? And Utah, they don't score there somehow. I don't know how. Um, so then we go back the other way, and this is funny. I'm not making this up. Cousins passes it to Cousins, and Cousins would score. I had a feeling I'd end up saying that at one point this year. Cousins to Cousins. Not related, by the way. Their names are spelled differently. But anyways, Dylan Cousins would pass it to Nick Cousins. He would go for a wraparound, and somehow this goes in. I still don't know how this puck went in, because it looked like Vanacek was there. Like his pad was there, but Nick Cousins wraps it around and it goes in. Like I didn't really get a great look at it on the replay. Like it legit looked like it went through an invisible hole in his pad or something. But somehow it goes in. I don't know how. And that would give the Sens a 3-1 lead. So Nick Cousins would score his third of the season at the 15:52 mark of the second period. Dylan Cousins and Ridley Gregg drawing the assist there, so that's a couple points for Gregg and a couple points for Dylan Cousins. So we're up 3-1, so we're looking pretty good. So now Schmaltz would come flying down the wing. This is the one I was thinking about. I got mixed up with the other goal earlier. So Schmaltz comes flying down the wing, and he would just skate around Sanderson. Sanderson, he's been looking a little fatigued the last couple of games, I would say. He didn't look good on this play at all. So Schmaltz just skates around him like nothing, takes it to the net, and he would score. He would beat Merilinen 5-hole, and that would make it 3-2. So Schmaltz scoring his 9th of the season from Logan Cooley and DeSimone. Not sure what his first name is actually. DeSimone. N. DeSimone. Is it Nicholas? I should know this. I feel bad, but yeah, that goal, it was a late goal too. So 18:56 into the second period. So like, you hate to give up those late ones, right? Like it's a minute 4 seconds left, just so close to getting to the second intermission with that 2-goal lead, but they do give up a late one. However, they do still go into the second intermission with the 1-goal lead. So you're not feeling too bad. The shots were 9-9 in that second period. So again, I would say it was a relatively even game just overall. But yeah, Sens got the lead. We're not looking too bad. So we go into the third period, and there is chaos in the first minute. And when I say chaos, I mean chaos. So 22 seconds into the period, there is a scramble around the Ottawa net. This was all weird. Everything's weird. So McBain would back he would back into Merilinen, not like a malicious play or anything. You just kind of back into him accidentally. He kind of bumped him a little bit, and so that would push Merilinen to the opposite side of the net. So McBain, while sitting from the seat of his pants, facing the opposite direction of the net, he would just like backhand it, and it would go in. So I'm like, what? Like at real time, I couldn't even tell what the heck just happened. And again, we are 22 seconds into the third period, right? So, I had no clue what happened at real time. So I'm thinking, okay, yep, great way to start, because like they give up that late goal in the second period, a minute 4 seconds left, and then they give up this one 22 seconds into the third period, but the Sens would call a timeout because they wanted to look at the play. because they wanted to see if they wanted to challenge it or not. And they would, in fact, end up challenging this for goalie interference. And listen, I don't know. In my opinion, this is my opinion. This is coming from a Sens fan, too. I think Maryline still had enough time to get over to make that save, I think. But we all know the goal that got waved off against Ottawa when they played Nashville. So after that, anything's up in the air. So that goal does in fact end up getting waved off. So I think the Sens dodged a bit of a bullet there. So, because that would have tied the game at 3-3. So the goal does get waved off, but again, just a crazy start to this period, and there's more. There's more. So there was a wild sequence around the Utah net. This was shortly after that waved off goal, and there was an unreal save by Vanacek. Like he's down, he's got a guy on top of him, and I think it was, I didn't put down who the Sens player was. I think it was Giroux. He kind of got a poke shot at it, but he got some good power on it, right? But Vanacek just kind of falls back. He gets it with his blocker, a crazy save. And this was all in the first minute of the third period. So just a wild start to this period. So somehow he kept that up. Now, even if that did go in, I don't even know if it would have counted anyways, because I think there might have been possible goalie interference. But either way, he saved it. Heck of a save by Vanacek. So there was a shot pass from Shabbat at the blue line, and it gets tipped in by Michael Amadio. So Amadio has a 4-game goal streak. This guy he's the sniper now, apparently. So Michael Amadio would score at the 3:46 mark of the third period. That's his 6th of the season. So Shabbat and Spence getting another assist there. So that's a couple points for Spence. And that would make it 4-2, which was obviously the final goal. But I do still have a lot of notes here. So yeah, just that's big. You know, after that waved off goal, you definitely want to, get back at it. So that was definitely a good goal, a big goal there, huge. So there was another really bad giveaway by Utah right at their own blue line to Perron. He would walk in and he would have a good look, but that was a big save by Vanacek right there. And Utah, again, they're just getting sloppy, making a lot of turnovers, and you see the stats, there are 20 giveaways for Utah. That sounds pretty accurate because it feels like they made a lot of pretty big ones that could have easily ended up in their net. And again, there were a lot of big saves by both goalies. So that's, again, I feel like this game could have went either way. So there was a couple turnovers. There was another one-timer by Utah. That was another big save by Maryline. I feel like I'm saying that a lot in this video. Then there was another crazy sequence in the Utah end. So it led to a penalty by Utah. And the Sens are, okay, I put this in my notes. So they are 0 for their last 16 on the power play. So make it 0 for 17 now with this one. So that they got to fix this power play, which, again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but it's ironic how their power play was great, penalty kill was awful, and now it's the complete opposite. So it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. So Batherson, he made a nice pass to Stützle, really nice pass there, and he gets robbed by Vanacek. Another big save by Vanacek. That was a really good look by Stützle, but just couldn't find a way to bury it. So the Sens would get 2 shots on that power play, but of course they would not score. There were no power play goals for either team. Also, just a friendly reminder to always stay hydrated. I forget to do that sometimes during video recordings. Sometimes I just completely forget to do it. So yeah, make sure you're staying hydrated. But anyways, so the Sens would get 2 shots on their power play. They would not score. So Utah would pull Vanacek for the extra attacker. They are down by 2, of course. So Pinto goes for the empty net, and he would miss. He went for it from his own end. I'm never a big fan of this play, even if you're up by 2. Now, the commentators, Jamie McLennan and Kenzie Lalonde, they both kind of said that they don't mind that they went for it, even with a 2-goal lead. Personally, I am not a big fan of it. because I don't know. Just definitely not when you're up by one. If you're up by two, maybe, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like you gotta look out for, you know, the fact that you need to get points in this league with how close everything is. So I didn't really like that play, to be honest. So off that face-off, Merlinen gets caught way out of position, and the puck gets thrown out front, and somehow this does not go in. And this was after the icing call because Pinto went for the empty net and missed it. So just, you never know, right? Because if they pop that one in, you're looking at 4-3 and there's still time left, right? So again, I'm never a fan of that play when they go for the empty net from their own end. Like, I've always preferred just chip it out past the blue line, or if you're past center, then go for the empty net. Like, I get it. I know Pinto's been kind of on a bit of a cold streak lately when it comes to goal scoring. I get it, but thankfully it did not cost them. So there ended up being a face-off at center ice, so Vanacek came back into the net. Utah would end up getting Vanacek back out of the net. They would move the puck around, they would get some chances, but nothing came out of it. And yeah, this ends up, they end up skating away with a 4-2 victory. That's your final. The shots were 11-9 for Ottawa in that third period, so a much better third period tonight than yesterday. So yeah, again, it was a close game. I feel like it could have went either way. And as mentioned earlier, the Sens are now 6-1-3 in their last 10. So they're getting wins, they're getting points, and that's what you like to see. So we'll go ahead and run through the box score here. Just gotta get it pulled up. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at our point getters for tonight. Alright. So, for the forwards, let's see. Dylan Cousins had 2 assists. Ridley Gregg had a goal and an assist. Nick Cousins and Michael Amadio had a goal each. Perron had 1 assist. And for the defense, Jordan Spence had a goal and an assist, and Shabbat had an assist. And I did not do the 3 stars. I'll do that after the box score. So, plus minus, there were 2 defensemen that were a plus. Spence and Shabbat were both +2. Every other defenseman were even. And then for the forwards, there were 2 players that were a minus. Eller and Hodgson were -1. And on the plus side, Dylan Cousins and Gregg were +2. And Batherson, Zetterlund, Nick Cousins, and Perron were all +1. And for the shots, we got Giroux and Eller leading the way with 3 for the forwards. And for the defense, Spence had 4, which makes sense. The guy is like, he's all offense pretty much, but I like him. I know. I understand why he's been sitting a lot, but just please play him more. Like, just do it. Please. And he had a solid night tonight. I think he was one of the stars, I do believe, which again I will get to after I run through the box score. Block shots, Shabbat leading the way with 2 for the defense. And for the forwards, there's 5 forwards had 1 block shot, so that was Pinto, Batherson, Giroux, Perron, and Gregg. They all had 1 block shot. Hits leading the way was Batherson, actually. That's a surprise. So Batherson had the most hits for forwards with 4. And for the defense, just 4 hits combined for the defense. So Clevin had 3, Shabbat had 1. So there is that. And yeah, it was a solid game. And Merlinen played very, very well. He stops 29 out of 31 shots for a .935 save percentage. That is what you like to see. So yes, let's go ahead and run through the 3 stars here, because I forgot to do that. Alright, so 3 stars of the game. Jordan Spence is the first star with 1 goal and 1 assist. Again, he had a solid night tonight. Second star was Levi Merlinen with the .935 save percentage. And the third star was Ridley Gregg with a goal and an assist. Solid game. And again, I do feel like this one could have went either way, but again, I feel like you're feeling pretty good right now if you're a Sens fan, because 6-1-3 in their last 10. They do have a tough opponent coming up, though, in their next game, and that is going to be on Tuesday, November 11th, so a couple nights from now, against the Dallas Stars. So Dallas is probably one of the top contenders in the league for the Cup, I would think. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, and that will be the second game of a 4-game homestand for the Sens, and we'll see how that goes. Let me actually check if I can think of this. I'll try to mention the team's record of the Sens' next opponent, if I can think of it. So Dallas, they're looking pretty good. They are 9-4-3. They're 4-1-2 on the road. One regulation loss on the road, so we'll see what happens there. They do have a minus goal differential. They're a -2, so a lot of offense there, but they give up a lot. They do give up a lot, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Solid win tonight. Sens are looking good, and the Sens are also third in the division, so we'll see if they can stay there. That'd be great if they could. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for watching, and go Sens go.